Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
Tell me, boy.
I'm paranoid, I'm paranoid, I'm paranoid, bitch, I'm paranoid, I'm paranoid, I'm paranoid, I'm paranoid, bitch, I'm paranoid.
Testicles, 1, 2, testicles. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Paranoid Radio Podcast. I'm your humble host, Trebles Garcia. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today, and I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Do not forget to jump on paranoidradio.com. Check us out at paranoidradio.com for exclusive interviews. We have a tab with all the special guests we've ever had on the show, and you can also check out the unedited, unbothered, and unfiltered episodes live on the show. Paranoidradio.com, but do not forget to drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. This allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. And we have an amazing episode lined up for you guys. Allow me to jump in from deep into the pool and set the fucking mood. JB from Renegade Family of Light has been telling us on a two-part story, where he has become the master of his life. Please welcome the Patriot business owner, JB from Renegade Family of Light on Instagram. How's it going, brother?
What's up, player? Let's rock and roll. We got a lot to cover, man. So we're on part 3. If you haven't caught part 1 and 2, check it out. Otherwise, check part 3, and then you'll want to catch part 1 and 2.
Absolutely.
It's about to take off.
Yo, let the people know where they can find you for the new listeners. And
yes,
then,
sir.
Yeah, go for it.
Yes, sir. So JB at Renegade Family of Light for new listeners on Instagram. Come see me. Come check it out. And I got good content. It's just like Paranoid Radio style, conspiracy stuff, and truth seeking. That's what we do. Seek the truth.
And quite frankly, he's been in the game a very long time, and he's been in the game way before us. And if anything, he paved the way for us to be here today. So thank you again for being here, and thank you for all the influence you've had on us.
That's
now,
it, man.
The last episode on Warrior 2, which dropped a week ago. I'm trying to do it consecutive now because it's a hot topic. You put a pack of stuff to drugs and put it away for USPS. You had a chopper on top of your fucking apartment. They came in, they fucking locked your ass up. What fucking happened?
Well, they raided me. So right now the door comes busting down. The DEA is there. The IRS is there. The FBI is there. The ATF is there. All the alphabet agencies are swarming. They're basically, they bust down the door. I'm in handcuffs. The SWAT team is tearing apart my apartment. They pull me outside, sit me down, cuffed against the wall. I see my runner across from me. He's up against the wall. He's not saying a word. He's just sitting there with his mouth shut while they're trying to ask him questions. He's exercising his Fifth Amendment rights. Mm-hmm. And there's this FedEx package that was going to the Bay Area, and there's a drug sniffing dog that's like investigating the package, and I'm watching.
Oh God, they started fucking searching the packs, bro.
So, but the dog is not reacting to it. So the vacuum seal was holding up on its word to not give off any scent or odor, like their bags basically were claiming in their commercials. About
it was branded Ziploc, wasn't it?
No, not Ziploc, vacuum seal. Like, those vacuum seals that you put meat in and you store it for years or whatever you want to do. And the commercial, remember I was talking about the commercial, like the lion just wasn't reacting to the bloody meat inside this vacuum sealed bag because he couldn't smell it. Well, turns out the dog couldn't either. So the dog is not reacting to the package. So now at this time, my apartment is bone dry. It's bone dry of anything that's incriminating in there because I was going to New York and I cleaned everything out and my prints weren't on the package. So I'm feeling like there's some openings here, and they're tearing apart my place, destroying everything, just destroying the entire place. And these trained federal agents managed to bury a bag with $50K that was sitting on the closet floor in full view in my closet. It was in one of those cooler bags that you put sandwiches in with the liner inside to keep it cold. I had $50K sitting in there on the floor in one of those bags, and they just buried it. They swept everything off the top of the shelves, like, this just swiped everything off and just piled stuff on top of it. And so they never even got to that. It was right in front of them, and they never got to it.
You never paid anybody to keep them off you at any given point.
No,
Okay.
no. I never was paying off any law enforcement or anything like that. I was trying to be as far under the radar as possible, but it only lasts so long.
Mm.
So so they buried this stuff on the floor with the money. I had other hiding spots in plain sight. I was a big like in plain sight kind of guy, kind of like the cabal where they put symbols right in front of you. So I would
Yeah.
have like candles and stuff that were hollowed out with the cash rolled up in them. Pasta boxes with cash rolled up. A big Coke liter that was created to have the empty so that you could put cash in those hide a key things that you could buy on Amazon. The whatever the oil cans. So I had stuff in there. But that was minimal stuff. But they did find the stash house, which was my next door neighbors who I was paying their rent in exchange for letting me keep my safe in their place, and they were hauling out the safe. So they got that, and they seized my
From your neighbor's house.
Yeah, they seized my corporate bank account. But see, the thing is, my neighbor was clean. Like I chose him because he wasn't dirty. He was just a regular guy, so that he could not get in trouble. And I don't know if they're going to question him on anything, but it's like they know he was just there for just to store the safe. So I would pay his rent, and it was a good deal for him. So they got the safe, they got my bank account, which had like 500K in it. And so now they're swarming, and the cops, DEA, FBI, they got my computers, they got logbooks. So I'm thinking, and my move in this spot, and my guy in the Bay Area told me a while before this, he's like, when the day comes, you got to be able to negotiate your way out of a deal. So you got to be able to deliver something. So now, let me just stop right there and just say, everyone needs to know that the days of like not cooperating to save your ass ended a long time ago with the mob. The mob was flipping left and right. Bosses were flipping on everyone. I mean, only the guys who had no option to flip were left holding the bag. So you're talking cold-blooded hitmen killers were flipping. The hardest gangsters were flipping. Everyone flips. It's a known thing. So anybody that's on the streets and talking about, hey man, I'm no freaking lad, dude, they're lying, because everybody and anybody is going to try to. It's like stupid not to. Like, you've got to be able to negotiate to save your. You're doing 20 to life. Everybody inside is trying to find a case that they can get so they can work off their case. They're even talking to their cellmates, trying to get them to talk about their crimes so they can go hop on the call and talk to their agents and say, yo, he just told me the gun was hidden in the park under the stone. And then they get the gun, and now this guy gets years knocked off his case. Everybody's running around. You can't trust nobody. So it's a known thing. And so I was already prepared for that. And that's why when I had two guys, there was an extra reason why I wanted to have two suppliers, because I knew that this day might come. So my one supplier, who I became very close with, and I wasn't willing to deliver anybody who I was close with, because then that just didn't sit right with me. So I became close with the one guy, and he never did me wrong. So he was honorable for me. I'm going to be that way for him. But he had already been popped like shortly before me, and he was doing 17 years. He took a deal for 17 years. So he had run away, but his girl was running his business, and I wasn't going to give her up. So, but I did have the other guy who was like, he was not cool. In other words, he would do me dirty if it was going to benefit him financially.
It was
no matter how much business we did. He would cut me, slice my throat. He would do anything. It was just business and nothing personal. So I knew where I stood with him. And I don't know if he knew where he stood with me, but he was going to be my sacrificial lamb. So and he was a whale, you know what I'm saying? Like he was one step removed. So now the DEA guys that, whatever, they pull me aside, and now they start giving me, like, they're surrounding me, and they're like, you could help yourself. And I'm like, listen, guys, you could save it. You could save the speech. I'm like, I'm going to cooperate with you, but you got to do me one favor. I'm like, you got to shut this fucking show down. I'm like, you got to get these people out of here. You got to shut this down. I'm like, you are making it like your billboard sign right now. You're just announcing to the entire town that I've been popped. I'm going to be hot as fuck, and nobody's going to deal with me. And I can't help you. If I can't help you, then we can't help each other, because you could have came to me and done this really quietly, and we could have worked this out. But you got the freaking flashing lights. You got everything going on. And now I'm at risk of being useless to you. I'm like, I got to get to fucking New York. I got my sister's wedding. People need to think that nothing happened and everything is normal for me in order for me to be able to work with you. I'm like, do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? I'm gonna provide you with a lot more value than what you're getting if you just try to get me, because I know you really don't got much. My house is clean. I'm like, this package is not even freaking, it has nothing to do with me. I'm not connected in there. I'm like, yeah, you've got stuff, but like, think about it, like I can,
The boss
I
in
can
your
give you
court
a lot
right now.
more.
Yeah.
Dude, I took over the whole scene. Like I literally was in charge at that point. I was like, everybody's got to get shut down. I'm like, shut it down. I'm like, just shut it down. I'm like, that's the only way this is going to work. So they shut it down. They shut it down.
If you allow me to inject.
Yeah, go ahead.
Back to what you said about snitching. Yo, I'm gonna tell you something, dog. And I had this conversation with one of my co-hosts earlier about a month ago. If they come at you, even if you were a lonely motherfucker, if they come at you, they give you the right deal, you're gonna fucking fold. What happened to fucking to that what dude, 69, the rapper dude, that Latino dude Mexican dude from
the
New York?
hardest guys in the world will fold.
They folded because the gang that he was repping didn't fucking rep him, and at the end, they only fucked this fucking girl. No one's feeding his baby, no one's feeding his mom. He had to fucking fold on him so that he could go feed his people. I'm not condoning ratting, but I mean, look,
I know
bro.
what
At the
you're
end
saying,
of the day,
bro.
if they come at me and they tell me your mommy, your sister, and your daughters, you have 2 daughters, dog, I'm like, fuck, dog. You put me against I got blades on my neck, bro. Dog,
everybody
anything for my fucking daughters at this point, regardless of what the people are gonna say. And I'm not saying I'm a snitch, but guess what, bro? I know you guys will snitch too. That's
everybody, they're all lying. And
Yep.
you put somebody in a position of facing 20 to life, and you see how fast they fucking roll over. Everybody,
absolutely.
It's your life.
Yeah.
And plus, you're dealing with criminals that don't give a fuck about you. Like they don't give a fuck about, like Sammy Bull Gravano, like with John Gotti. John Gotti was fucking gonna fucking do him so dirty. It was like it's either him or me, and he showed no loyalty. So, but I am loyal. In other words, like if I'm in other words, if I'm close with someone and we're doing the same thing, then I'm gonna take my lump, because it's like he don't deserve it. In other words, like it's a different story. If like I don't know how
emotions get locked in.
I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna give up somebody who didn't deserve it. In other words, like they're down for me. I'm down for them, and we're gonna do what we got to do.
Especially your dude had already been pinched. He could have easily given you up from the get go, but he didn't.
Who?
Your boy? You told me that he had already gotten
pinched. He was
yeah.
You know, to be honest with you, I don't know exactly whatever really did take place over there. I just know that he had worked out his own deal, and I worked out my own deal. And the girl who gave us both up, she worked out her deal, which gave us up. So everybody's working a deal out. You know, that's it's just expected. I wasn't mad at her. I mean, I was just like, it's part of the business. It's like I know she's gonna save her ass. I'm not mad at her, you know. So it's just part of the deal. So that's what I told them. And then next, you know, like I went downtown for a few hours to work out this deal. They had a couple of agents in there. They you know, we signed some papers. It was like the good cop, bad cop. One guy was being my friend. The other guy was trying to be a hard ass. The guy was being a hard ass. He was like right out of the academy. He's trying to talk street lingo. He sounds like an idiot. But the other guy was a veteran, and he was cool. And you know, we developed some kind of like, you know, like trust within each other. And he's like, you know, you can help yourself. We'll do you right if you do us right. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna deliver on my promise. So next, you know, my girl picks me up. She picks up me and my runner up, and we're on a plane to New York, dude. Like within like at 90
you had already mailed yourself a little baggie for yourself.
I did not because I threw it. They never found that either.
Oh yeah, you threw the envelope.
I get back to the apartment. It's trash. The door is smashed open, but there's a sense of relief where I'm like, all right, it happened. It's over. Like nobody's like watching me right now, because it already took place. Like I felt like this safety feeling, weird feeling where I was like, I know that it already took place. So there's nobody out there watching me right now. So I thank God that they didn't find that cash, because that's basically all that I had left, because everything was taken from me. So that was saving grace. I had that 50 grand. And then I found that freaking little baggie. So I found that little baggie, and I hop on a plane to New York. So now I get to New York, and my whole family knows what took place, because My girl told my brother, and my brother basically got drilled by my father because he's like, listen, John's not going to make it. So my father's like, what happened? Well, I want the truth. So we told him, she told him to say that I got arrested from the IRS for tax evasion. So I get to the thing, the wedding's over. I missed it, but it's the day after wedding and there's a lot going on. So they're disappointed, but they're like, are you okay? And they're like, what happened? So I'm like, yeah, it was tax evasion. They was like, I wasn't paying my taxes. It was weird. It was like, don't they give you notices first before they actually knock down your door? It was hard to swallow, but it was the story I was given. And so I was there, and that was the most important thing. And then I get on the phone with my guy who his name, we'll call him D-Rock. And I'm like, yo, what's up? And so he heard about the raid. So now it was like my cover was blown, and like everything that I had told them, I was trying to avoid. I was like, damn. So he caught wind of it. And so now there was enough of a story there to be half believer, to keep him on the hook, because I was like, listen, bro, by the grace of gods, we just happened to get really, really lucky because my place was clean. There was nothing there. You knew I was going to New York. You
The
knew
timing
I
was right.
I was like, you knew what was up. You knew my place clean. The last thing I had was what I sent at the thing. I was like, and that FedEx package was intercepted, but there was no, like they couldn't get into the package. They're not allowed to, and the dog didn't react. And I'm like, it hasn't, and it's not connected to me because I didn't touch it. And so I'm like, they raided, they destroyed my place. They ransacked it. They found nothing. I was like, they took me downtown for a few hours and they were forced to let me go. They had nothing on me. I was like, they were pissed. I was like, they were really pissed. It just so happens they showed up at the worst fucking day. Like the only day I was going to be clean, they showed up, and it was like, I was blessed. So he was like, you're right. He's like, yeah. He's like, fucking, and he's like, yeah. And wow, that is, so he was really cautious, and he wasn't about to just start jumping into freaking, business with me. But it was enough to keep him at least somewhat in the game, where he was going to feel me out and keep me at a distance, but he still was like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. So I called up the agent guy, and I'm like, listen, Sam, I'm like, fucking, he knows. I was like, but I gave him enough of a story that he could believe it because of everything else. And I was like, but this is going to take some time now. I was like, I'm going to have to earn his trust. So you got to be patient, and we got to just, let this thing play out. And so he was like, all right, just touch base me when you get back back to LA.
Now you're an informant, dog. Now you're an informant, bro.
Now I'm working for the government. Bro. I'm working for the government. Shit. That's exactly what I am now. I'm a government worker. And so, but now here's the thing, dude. Like I'm naive at this because for some reason in my head, I'm thinking like the movies where like I'm still supposed to be doing my thing, my business, and like I'm going to do like 2-3 deals, and then I'm going to give them a deal, and then I'm going to keep 2-3 deals, then I'm going to give one to them. That's how I'm thinking it goes. Like, I keep doing my thing, and I just keep, handing them some stuff. And so I go back to business as usual. I mean, I get back, and like, D-Rock, I'm not going to go near him for a little while. My guy's girl, she didn't hear about this. So I can deal with her, and she doesn't know anything. So I'm able to get my product from her still. And I'm just, the Bay Area is shut down, but I still got action, in the local area. So I got about like 3 or 4 solid accounts that I'm dealing with. So I'm back to business, and I'm feeding them. They heard about stuff, but then they believe me, so they just wanted their dough. So now I'm hustling, dude. Like I'm rocking, like I'm working hard.
If anything, it kind of gives you more of a street cred at this point, because now you got eyes on you. They think that you got away with it, and then you think that you're still loyal. You're working, playing with fire, bro. Double-edged sword. 100.
Oh, dude, I'm walking a thin line, like literally the thinnest of lines. But yeah, you're right. It's like, because a lot of these guys, they don't stop. They get in trouble. They get out on bail sometimes, and they're working off a case, and they're still freaking, and then they get popped for another case and another case. So they got 3 cases that they're working on. So it's kind of like a normal thing. And then just the fact that the true story was that the place was clean. So that was the true story that I was able to stand by. And so it worked. And before you knew it, people forgot about that, and they were just back to business. So like, and then
because it's a rapid game. That's why they call it the fast lane. That's the diamond lane here in California. because you have no time to second guess and start asking the questions when you got money in the line and when you already have a reputation.
You need your dough.
At this point, you need to get on a carpool lane, even if it's just with one passenger, and fucking run with it, because we all know who's risking what and how much you have to lose. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and you're willing to take those chances because the money is what you need, and it's too good to not take. So now I'm already wiped out. Like, I worked hard for all that money, and it's gone now. So I'm like, fuck, I gotta build it back up, man. You know, like, I got to start over practically. So I'm trying to hustle now. And then, you know, in between, I'm making phone calls to Sam, the agent, and, you know, he would ask me every night, like, where are you? And I know that they're tracking me. I know that they're keeping tabs on me. So I would tell them the truth. I'll be like, you know, I'm at this hotel. I'm just, you know, I don't got a place right now. I'm trying to find a place to stay, blah, blah, blah. And staying in touch. And then now I'm working like little by little. I'm back with D-Rock, and he's slowly starting to, you know, gain some trust with me again. And so I'm getting back into his good graces and dealing with. So then I get this order, and it's a typical, like, a weekly order of like £1 from one of my local guys. And so he orders it, and then I tell, you know, I'm like, meet me at the Kinko's off in Sherman Oaks. And I forget the names of these roads now, but it was Kinko's in Sherman Oaks. And Kinko's even exist anymore? Are they out of business now? Because, like,
I think they're out of business here in California. I haven't seen a Kinko's a very long time. But I mean, they still might be in the valley. Sherman Oaks, that's in San
used to be able to go in there and hop on the computers and do some email and print stuff if you needed to. That's how they had these computers lined up in there. So I go down to the Kinko's. It's like I was popped in July, and now it's October. So I've been working for the last 3 months, whatever it was, and trying to just work both sides, you know, keep tabs, tell them I'm getting close, and, you know, and all that stuff. And they're being cool with me. Like, you know, they're not breaking my balls or anything. So now I get to the Kinko's, and so I don't see my guy there, and I'm like, all right, well, I don't want to just sit in the car. So I get out, I walk in, and I just get on the computer, like I'm checking email and stuff. And I'm checking email, and I'm keeping my awareness of my surroundings. And I'm starting to get a bad feeling. My gut's starting to tell me something's not right here. Just don't even do this. Just get up and get out of here, because this doesn't seem
with your
right.
Boy.
Yeah, with the guy I'm meeting there, man. and I got a pound of dope on me in the car, and I got the dope sealed in these big, like large candies, like the Sour Patch Kid bags of candy, and I put it in there and then seal it like it was brand new, and so they were in the car, and so I'm like getting a bad feeling, and I walk out, and I'm looking around, don't see him, get in my car, I start to fucking drive off, and now it's dark out. And it's like 6 o'clock, so this traffic is definitely thick. So I get on the boulevard, and I notice I'm being tailed. So I'm like, oh fuck, man! I'm like, these guys are tailing me.
And at this point, you have the jurisdiction of the local and police enforcement, law enforcement, that could definitely catch you slipping, because you might have kind of been with the high, you know, with the higher ranker. Police, you know, department or the FBI or etc. But the local law enforcement could definitely still well off to their fucking duty while you're in that zone.
They're working, absolutely. You know, they're working their scenes, and they're trying to get their cases and bust people. And so, like, and they're not sharing information. So they, and
at that time they worked hard. Yeah, this is why a lot of serial killers got away with that during the 80s and the 90s, because a lot of them didn't share information with each other.
Right.
In fact,
it was like a competition with each other. Like, they didn't want to share. So now you're right.
That's how the Zodiac killer never got caught, because they never fucking shared information with each other.
Same with old Ted Bundy and those guys. That was crazy. So now I'm driving, and, you know, it's dark out, and it's a little bit heavy, thick of traffic. I'm going down one way, and I'm doing about 35, 40 normal speed limit. And there's traffic coming on the opposite side, coming towards me, because, like, you know, the light changed, and then there was a gap in between. And so now they're coming towards me as I'm driving one way. And just as they're about to approach and pass me by the traffic, I bang a hard left, cross over the yellow lanes, and just cut across the entire divide onto a side street, and just barely missed them. Yeah, like, they're coming, their horns are beeping now. They're like, And now they just passed, and now whoever was behind me is now blocked off by a wall of cars and cannot can't follow me. They can't cross the street. And I just gun it. And I'm like, whew, that was a relief. I look at my rear view, nobody's behind me. And I'm like, all right, what do you do now? Do you pull over? Do you throw this in a garbage can? Do you pull into somebody's driveway and just duck? And what do you do? So I'm just driving. I notice it's quiet. Nothing's behind me. I'm like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here. And let's get back and just, figure it out, before we get home. Hop onto the main road, the boulevard, whatever it was. I'm heading towards the freeway. And next thing you know, a couple minutes later, the lights flashing in the back of the lights are flashing behind me. They're
the
like,
cops.
Undercovers, like undercover lights. And they're not like flashing sirens, they're just flashing lights telling me
the lights are almost inside the windshield, and it fucking throws the light to you, and it comes from inside the car. It's not visible, it's just from the inside. I hear you.
Sneaky kind where you're like, this isn't a routine, like this is this is a specific stop.
It's a specific unit, like kind of like the gang unit. A lot of the gang units here in LA have that shit now. I hear you.
And they're in undercover cars too. So now they pull me over, and I'm pretty strong with my knowing my rights, knowing what to say, not to say. And so they don't like pull me out and start cuffing me or anything. They just like, step out of the car, and I'm like, what's the problem? What's the deal? And then before they get to me, I call Sam, the agent, and I'm like, hey, Sam, because I'm like, he's going to find out if something happens.
Oh, fuck you, dude. Oh,
so I'm like, Sam, I'm like, I'm getting pulled over right now. I'm trying to work. I'm trying to get information. I'm working undercover, I'm just trying to tell him something.
Trying to get out of this.
I'm like, is this you? I'm like, is this you guys? I'm like, I'm confused. What's going on here? Is this a miscommunication? Call me. So I'll leave him a message. It was one of those Nextel phones at the time. And so they asked me to step out. I'm like, out of the car, can we search your car? It seems like you were going a little too fast. You were doing this. And I'm like, come on, guys. I'm like, I wasn't breaking any laws. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was like, no, you cannot search my car. Absolutely not. I do not give consent. They're like, all right, let me get your license. They start flashing lights in my eyes to see if my eyes are dilated. They start feeling my chest if my heart's racing.
It's the pressure. Yeah.
Yeah. So my heart is racing. It's like in my throat. And so they're like, all right, let me get your license, and we'll run you. We'll see if there's any warrants out for you. So they're running the thing, and it turns out they run my freaking license. And remember when I got popped in the store that one time, and then I had to get a lawyer, and the lawyers got it knocked down to like a little tiny, like,
there's a warrant for your arrest.
No, there's not a warrant, but I was under. When we got that case, like whatever it was, I agreed to do some kind of probationary period where I wouldn't get in trouble over a 4-year period of time as a probation. So I was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So
this happened in episode 1 of Warrior. Yeah,
correct. In episode 1, I got popped, and then I took the, got a lawyer, and it was a small little slap on the wrist, but it carried a probationary period. I was a week away from that period expiring. Like the end was coming in a week, but because I was under that probationary period, it gave them the ability to search my vehicle without a warrant because I was under probation. And then they knew that, and they started laughing at me. And they're like, yeah, well, it turns out you just got, you got this thing that was about a week away, and we're gonna be able to search your car anyway. So we're gonna see if everything's was all clear.
Fucked again.
And you're right. And if everything's clean, you're good to go. You can get, you can be on your way. But we're gonna search it. So I'm like, oh, man, I'm like, maybe the candy will hold up. Candy doesn't hold up. They find it. So I'm on my way, but I'm on my way downtown. And so now I'm in cuffs. I'm in the back of the squad car, and I'm going to Glendale Police Department now. So the locals, now we're dealing with the locals.
Yeah, those police departments are the worst because they play by their own set of rules. So specifically, they're not the sheriff's department. So there's cities here in LA that are part of the LA County, but some are ran by the CHP, which is the California Highway Patrol, the small unincorporated cities. And then you have some cities that are ran by the sheriff's department, and they have an established sheriff's department there. But remember, the sheriff's department, the entity of the sheriffs, that's a complete whole different monster from LA cops, like the LA city cops. And then you have the small Glendale is a whole fucking
Glendale's a private police department. They don't even, they're privately run. Like they're not even a part of the civil, the community thing.
These guys get paid by the city that they serve.
Yeah,
at that point.
exactly.
Yep.
So they have their own style. You know, they don't answer to people. So there was a lead detective that was in charge. That was her name was Detective Kim Lawrence. So she was the in charge on the case, and they were part of the whole the drug unit. That they were basically this one squad that would basically handle all the drugs that was going on in Glendale. I was living in Glendale at the time because I moved from Hollywood to Glendale because my place was already destroyed, and so I found a place in Glendale. So I was actually a resident in Glendale. So they take me down, and now they book me, they process me, and you know I'm in the holding cell, and now they pull me out, and I'm like, listen, man, I'm working undercover. I'm working for the government. I'm working for the feds. Like you guys are interfering with an operation. I'm like basically playing the Fed card.
You're playing the Fed card.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm undercover right now. You're ruining my operation and you're interfering. So they're like, I'm like, you can call these guys. And they're like, we already spoke to Sam, and Sam said he had no idea what you were doing and that you violated your honor with them. So you violated your contract with them. They're cutting you loose. They don't want to work with you anymore. So they're going to do what they got to do. And the deal's off the table with them.
Get the fuck out. And, that's bad news.
Yeah. So like now I'm like, holy shit, like I'm in a fucking bad spot right now. I just lost the deal with them. Now I'm booked in process. So I'm on public record now as being, arrested. So anybody could check the public records. And now I got another case that I'm looking at. Like now I got two different things. I got an indictment hanging over my head, and now I got this ironclad kind of thing where it's like they got me with the stuff in the car. It's not like my place was clean anymore. They got me, and the guy who basically set me up was a guy that rolled over on me. So they got his testimony. So she's like, they're not going to work with you. Like, you're in a spot. We got you on this. Like, we got you like hook, line, and sink you. How do you want to play this? And I was like, well, listen, if they don't want to work with me, I'll give you what I was going to give them. And what I was going to give them was a whale. And I was like, if you get, give me, they don't want him.
Don't tell me that worked, dog, because that is too fucking much.
I'll give you the whale that I wasn't going to get. And next thing you know, my girl's picking me up. She's picking me up, and we're working out a deal to work with them to get this thing off. And they're giving me the right act as far as like, we're not going to tolerate any of this. And, whatever happens.
It showed that you had some information, because if any other 3-letter agency before they caught you was working with you, that would mean that your story was credible. That means you had something to show for it. That they abandoned you at that given moment, that's fucking protocol for them, because then they cannot get dragged down. They're not going to take money from them, whoever. If it was the FBI with Sam, let's call him Sam, the Sam FBI. They're not going to take money to continue fucking bailing you out, because the local law enforcement still needs to get paid. So for you to tell them that story, they say, you know what? Let's cut a chance at this motherfucker. We just fucking hold him out. We know where he lives. We got his plates. We got his fucking information. He's public now.
The feds wanted to work with him. The feds, he had something to give them. So if he's going to give them something, that means it's something big and substantial for them to be involved. Then that means he's not going to give it to them. Let us take it, because we want it. We want a big score. They jumped all over it because it was an opportunity for them.
Especially if he said, we're going to do what we're going to do, and then you guys could do whatever the fuck you want with him. Yep.
That's exactly what they said. They said, we're going to do what we got to do. And then whatever you guys do, it's up to you. He's on his own now. And we'll just take it from there. And we haven't decided what we're going to do as far as the indictments and stuff. So she said, listen, whatever they're doing to you, that's separate. It has nothing to do with us. But we'll give you a chance to, to work this off and, play by the rules. And you can help yourself. And I was like, all right, man. I was like, but you got to realize I'm on public record right now. I was like, and now everybody knows that I'm busted. So I'm like, you're going to have to be patient, and I'm going to do what I got to do, but it's going to take a minute for me, just like I was like for them. So I'm buying myself time, I'm basically able to just at least give myself some breathing room to start working things out and finding something to deliver, because now Rockstar, he is not going near me. Like it's over. Bro. And he's the guy I'm supposed to deliver.
And now the dude, Sam, now has complete power to come at you with your old previous shit. So you're walking even on fucking thinner glass.
Oh yeah, any day I'm waiting for that indictment to come down. But the thing is, I'm like, there's still that saving grace, because like I said, there was nothing in the place. There was so much that they didn't get. Would it be worth it for them to even bother with me was the question. It's like they really came up empty on my end.
Case thrown out the window because they released you.
The only thing that I had to offer was of value was to deliver somebody. And since they didn't trust me anymore, it was kind of like sat on the shelf. It literally would just sit on the shelf, and they would use it whenever they felt like pulling me back into something and tagging me with some other case, or that was part of the same thing, the same network, so to speak. So but now it's like nobody is working with me. Like like, in other words, I'm like hot as fire, and not even Joe's girl, she's not touching me. So I'm like, I got nothing. Like, in other words, I got no, like, all the cash is gone. I'm basically at rock bottom, and I got to figure out how to save my ass, survive, earn a living, and not get caught again. And find somebody who's going to trust me enough to freaking get me back in the game, and still keep them on the hook by delivering something. So I got a lot to figure out. And
this episode is called Warrior 3, The Raid.
Yes. So stay tuned for part 4, because it gets even gnarlier, dude.
Dude,
it gets even gnarlier.
It's absolute crazy, bro. You could write a book on this.
It's a show, dude. It's a movie.
You could write a book on this, bro.
It could definitely be a series, that's for sure. I mean, like, I don't know how many episodes, like a 10-part series, if I wanted to really, take it to the limit, but definitely could write or at least one Netflix movie could definitely be. It's got all the freaking elements to be that, man. It's all, this got all the flavors.
Yeah.
The
and you're going to have to
cops,
stay tuned. You're going to have to stay tuned to Warrior 4, man. Believe it or not, this is average. This is basic stuff. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of people out here living this lifestyle still to this fucking day. A lot of people that I know still fucking not only live check to check, but if you, the term where they say, in California, you cannot live without a full-time job and some fraud on the side. That's fact. That is absolute fucking fact, bro.
To survive, just to survive.
Yeah. And the most important thing is that we have the story of adaptability here. With Renegade Family of Light, JB. Let them know one more time where they can find you, bro.
Renegade Family of Light on Instagram. Stay tuned for part 4. Dude, part 4 is enough. It gets gnarly, dude. It's not even over yet. It gets gnarly. You could see where it's heading,
Yeah. The rated this was almost like the downfall, but I have a feeling you probably made it out of this one too. Well, you're here to fucking tell the story. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check them out. Renegade Family of Light on Instagram, and check it out on paranoidradio.com. He's also on the drop menu of special guests and links. JB, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Talk to you soon, brother.
Paranoid Radio.